Hey, it's Aaron. So, Garen always has that fucking, lava lamp in the background. It's always turned off. And, I only ever think of this when I'm sitting down. But, there's a part of me that really wants to get one and set it on the fucking bookcase and have it turned on, just, as a matter of principle. But I don't know how much those things cost. I think they're expensive now. They used to be, $20, but... Alright, well, anyway, I'm gonna bust out the soda right now because, otherwise I'm gonna fucking get all, in the stream of consciousness shit and, forget, because I'm gonna talk about a bunch of shit today. So, this is the original Fireman's Brew cream soda. I actually got a root beer, too, that I was gonna sort of compare to it, but, fuck. Someone came over and drank that. That's what happens when you're a good host, so, let's see how it is. It's not as sweet as I usually expect a cream soda to be, and you know something? Right now it's a good thing. It's funny, I talked about this in the last video. I was kind of balking a little bit. I was like, all I have is cream soda or else this fucking passion fruit one that I didn't feel like doing tonight. I don't know if I really had a taste for it, you know? But it's not really overbearing, you know? It's like cream soda. It has, the nice flavor. But it's kind of light on the whole, sort of sugar bomb aspect of it. Fuck, this probably isn't even any goddamn calories in it. Oh, I didn't tell you where this is from. I forgot. I should have labeled it. God, it's so light in here. It's so weird. Alright, Fireman's Brew Incorporated. Real vanilla. (180 calories). Shit, I don't see... That's weird, actually. Usually it's on there somewhere. Maybe it's on the fucking cap. No. That's it, though. Fireman's Brew. Well, whatever. It's pretty good soda if you come across it. It's not really jumping out at me as top tier, but that might just be the way it goes. So anyway, today we were listening to, I was kind of hoping it comes to the speakers, but I'm not sure, but, actually a little tip of the hat to, Ben Costello I've been chatting with. His name's going to come up again in this video. But, yeah, I said I was going to play a Brazilian record the next one, and I don't have very many, but this is one of my favorite fucking records ever, and I really don't know how to pronounce this, but it's Modulo 1000, and something in Portuguese. Não fale com paredes, or something like that. Fuck, maybe Rui can tell me next time. This is an amazing cover, though. It's all kind of blank like this, and apparently this is how the original was, though. Let's see if I can show this. It's like a trifold. And so you've got that weird picture. And then this whole big thing. Look at that. It's fucking nuts. It's sort of got the hippie thing going on, but it looks so primitive that it doesn't fall into that sort of hippie bullshit trap, you know what I'm saying? It's I don't know, man. It's really cool. It's heavy vinyl. I was thinking, look how thick that fucker is, you know? It's just one record. So, it's a really weird record, though, man. You probably can't hear it well to tell, but they use, whole tone scales in a way that I've never heard another band using in that. And they're really heavy, even though it's really organ-driven, you know? So, yeah, first time I heard this, I just immediately fell in love with it. So, yeah, and for how many people live in Brazil, I would expect there to be a lot more rock records from Brazil, but, excuse me, there aren't very many, Argentina, Peru, Mexico, if that counts as South America, tons of great stuff, but, a lot of people live there, too. They didn't have quite the same political problems. Well, I don't know about Argentina. Yeah. Anyway, I was going to say I didn't have quite the political problems as, say, Chile, but, there's some bad stuff there. But anyway, yeah, so it's great. So anyway, wanted to show that one. Now, the other thing is, I said Ben's name was going to come up again, is he's really kind of worked on me a little bit with the whole ECM thing, that I've gotten so down on them. And I kind of think I figured something out about ECM. I've really given them their due, you know what I mean? It's definitely possible that of the 30 or so ECM records that I've sat down and listened to, okay? This isn't counting ones where I just heard a little bit of them, or I was at someone's house and they had one on, or in the background of a video. This is ones I've sat down and listened to myself. That's a low estimate, okay? There have been a couple that I really liked, and actually I'm going to show one of them. That's this one. Robin Kenyatta, Girl from Martinique. And actually the only reason I'm showing this one is because I talked so much shit about ECM, but this is one that I liked. So there we go. So anyway, I went and watched, but Ben really likes them, so I went back and watched Ben's video where he was like talking about some of his favorite ones. It was actually his whole collection at the time, but it's an old video. But I went through it, like made notes, no shit, and like went and listened to a lot of them. You know what struck me about most of these fucking records? Is that they're really good records, but they're not really good jazz records. They're really good new age records. And if I had said this like 3 years ago, it would have been a dismissive like insult. But you know, I've actually kind of come around on new age. Not personally as something I dig. I really can't stand it, which I think you can tell in my response to, you know, good ECM records. But actually, you know, kind of opened my eyes up to is when I hung out with that guy from Cabin Floor Records just earlier this year. That guy was like, oh, he's really into this stuff, and he has a whole bunch of shit. He's these racks right now. I think new age. Listen to this riff. Awesome. You know, and he was like, oh, hey, check this out, man. And it's like these weird, like, private press things and shit like that, and just like all the shit I had no idea existed, to tell you the truth. It's not like the Windham Hill crap or fucking, I mean, Mannheim Steamroller isn't even fair, but was new age in my head. You know, like later a Tangerine Dream after they got crappy, maybe, but. So anyway, I listen to these ECM records, it just sounds like that's how they're put together as far as like the sort of the high quality of the production. You know what I mean? They don't really have sort of that little bit of dirtiness that I expect in jazz. And that's kind of, I think that's why it's stuck in my craw a little bit too, because like the CTI stuff, like a bad CTI record, and there are lots of them, most CTI records suck too. There's some really good ones. But like the bad CTI records for the most part are just bad jazz records. They're smooth jazz. I mean, that's kind of where the whole smooth jazz thing came from. So it's like no shit. Like listening to CTI records or like buying CTI records, from the time I first got it all interested, I realized like playing with matches, like because most of them are probably gonna be fucking horrible, you know, and you know that's pretty much been borne out by what I found. But fortunately, I don't know, I've gotten lucky, I guess, or something, because I actually don't have very many that are really awful. With ECM, it's more like as quality, but it just didn't sound right to me. And I really think that's what it is. I think it's new age, and I'm curious if other people think the same thing. Now, on that note, I also got a list from some guy who I really just started chatting with on here. In fact, he found me before I found him. And I don't like using notes during these things, but I am today because he sent me this big list of shit. Yeah, Anthony Camploni, if I'm pronouncing that right. But he was like, oh yeah, it's too bad you don't like ECM because here's all this great stuff. It's this list. Okay, now one of them was actually that Robin Kenyatta one that I showed. But I went through and listened to most of these while I was at work today, just like sort of sampled through them on YouTube, you know, one or two cuts, maybe listen to a little bit more, and some of these were really good, actually. I'm kind of blown away, because he's talking about, I'm picking like 118 of these things, right? And I'm like, if they were all this good, I would deem this a fucking really good label, you know? Because out of the dozen or so he sent me, there were like 3 that I thought were crap. And you know something, man? If fucking CBS did that well, I would be like, oh my god. I mean, that's better than like Atlantic did. And I look at the old Atlantic shit and go, fucking Atlantic was a good label, you know what I mean? Or like the old Elektra shit, you know? Well, Elektra had a lot of hippie shit. Anyway, though, fucking Capitol. You know, Capitol had all sorts of great hard rock records, like Bang and Blood Rock, and like, you know, some of those really classic Bob Seger records were on Capitol, you know? So if ECM were like at this kind of a rate, like here, I don't know, I feel like I'm rambling now, you know, I would think a lot more highly of them. But I just want to call a couple of these out. Paul Motion Conception Vessel was the first one he mentioned. I thought I had that. I was right. I thought that would suck too. Same reason though, it's a new age record. I was like, this is good new age. It's shitty jazz. I don't like it. Sorry. I can recognize the quality in the production and the performance and all that, but I just think it's lame, okay? Dave Liebman Drum Ode was not bad. Leo Smith Divine Love was awesome. That was like really cool free jazz shit, man. I was like, if this is all I heard, I'd be fucking freaking out over this label, you know? Steve Tibbetts Safe Journey was a lot cooler than I expected it to be. Dave Holland Conference of the Bird had kind of this Middle Eastern thing going on, like a Persian thing, which I tend to be a bit skeptical of, because sometimes you hear these guys are just stroking themselves with that kind of shit. But this was pretty well put together, and it really walked that line, I thought. And this is without listening to the whole record again. I feel weird talking about this, enough records to show. Like, I was listening to these MP3s the other day. It's like, what fucking community is this? But anyway, all this by way of saying that I am pretty well. I'm pretty well persuaded at this point that the ECM story is 10% of the records they put out were really good, and of the rest, a good portion were really good new age records, and I don't like new age, and that's my beef with them. And I kind of, it's funny because I feel like this is another rant, but it's actually not another rant. I kind of feel like I've made my peace with it now, because like, you know, some people like new age and some people don't. I mean, I mentioned the guy in Greenville, right? He was like really into this shit, and I was listening to these records with him going, I can recognize this is quality stuff. I just don't like it. It's not my taste. You know what I mean? It's like with a lot of rap stuff, you know what I mean? Or, you know, hip-hop stuff. I mean, there are things that I can listen to and I can go, this just isn't my taste, you know? But it's good stuff. It's not just like it's some piece of shit, you know? So, I really kind of feel a lot better about ECM now. I kind of feel like it isn't just a big fucking, like, put-on, or like just some sort of big rip-off of a label, which is really the point I was getting to in my head. It's just they're making new age records, and I don't know, people are buying them as jazz records. I'll tell you what, you know, I really, when I came on to start like this rant, I was actually going to start with this record because I fucking fell for it again, dude. I did it. I saw an ECM record, and I've heard so many people say, "Oh, this is a classic," you know. So I fell for it, and it sucks, man. It just sucks. I mean, it's not terrible. It doesn't suck spectacularly, you know. But it's like Chick Corea made some good records before this one, you know. I mean, he's not like a genius, you know. I think if I had a choice to you know, take all the records by either Chick Corea or Cecil Taylor and like burn them into a fucking urn and bury it in the Sahara, Chick Corea would lose, man, because Cecil Taylor was genuinely great. And Chick Corea is, you know, very cool, made some really good records that I liked a lot. Was on some really good records. I'm not talking any shit at all. But he's not that top tier, you know? Just being honest. So, yeah, so I was like, this is just a fucking put-on. Why do people love this record so much? And I was like, oh, well, it's new age. And I think that was kind of the beginning of it, too, is hearing, like, the vocals on it, like the, like, kind of like the soothing, like, shit, like, you're like, you know, it's like the shit you listen to and you're like lying in the spa with the cucumbers on your eyes and shit. And I don't know, man, I haven't, yeah, that's not really my thing. So yeah, so anyway though, I'm feeling pretty good about where things are with ECM in my head, you know. Maybe I've just pissed off everybody watching. I don't really believe that, by the way, but even if I did, I feel serene. So it's like, I get it now. It's like I understand what ECM is, you know, in a way that I did with CTI, which is maybe why I resented CTI less, you know, because like CTI, I could listen to 5 terrible records in a row. I go, like, what do you expect? It's CTI. It's like when you find a good CTI, it's like God's like giving you a pat on the back, saying, "Hey, attaboy, you know, you like hung in there, so here's a little something for you. Here's you know, Freddie Hubbard's Straight Life." You know, it's still not great, but it's a good record, you know? Anyway, okay, so I want to shout out to Vinyl Rich a little bit here because he showed some Twinkies records and seemed maybe mildly skeptical of the idea that I had anything, but here's one that he showed, actually. As far as I know, this is everything they ever did, because I actually loved this fucking band when I discovered them, and I went out and, like, found everything I could. This is a band from Sacramento, and they were sort of like psychedelic glam punk. Okay, this is a short record, and I'm kind of already talking for a long time, so I think I might actually keep this short, but I gotta flip the record, because that's too little music. I need some more, so hang on. Alright, so on to the Vinyl Rich section here. So yeah, these guys were like, I actually turned on to these guys because I went to, I'd just gotten really heavily into the Cleveland, like, punk stuff from the 70s. And I listened to more punk than anyway. You know, I would still like, I still had, like, the Television record and shit like that. And, you know, a lot of stuff like that. I mean, and I've said in these videos before that I used to have a lot more punk, but I've kind of pared it all down. And I really only have a few things, but the things that I have for a reason. Well, these Twinkies records I have for a reason. They remind me a lot. If there's one band I would compare them to, it's probably the Mirrors. I mean, and that's the sound I was looking for, was like the Mirrors, which, you know, were such a great band. So I was at Amoeba in San Francisco, and I was like, I'm really into this Cleveland shit. Can you suggest anything else like this? Like, I was like, well, okay, you're two bands. You had Simply Saucer from Canada, also great. Singer sounds a lot like Billy Joel to my ears, which is just an observation. It's not a pro or a con. But Simply Saucer and the Twinkies. So I went out and found these. Actually, I had them on CD. So this is the one that he showed. I think this is actually this is Grok record number 2. So there it is, like with the mirror. It's ESP back with Cartoon Land. And it's on pretty cool colored vinyl too. So he already showed this one, so I don't spend a fuckload of time on it. These guys are from Sacramento, by the way, if I'm not mistaken. I might have just said that, but I don't remember, because like all the Serenity for my ECM awakening has just like muddled my brain. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. This is the first one, actually. This is Aliens in Our Midst, backed with 1,000 Reasons. It's really even more simple than that, but it's like, at base, these are like really simple songs, but like, I mean, you can tell they were Velvet Underground fans, right? Just like pretty much any good punk band. They kind of have that dark sort of that underproduction. I mean, I hate to say lo-fi, but these are 70s records, so what the hell, you know? They were lo-fi because they were like cheaply made in their living rooms or whatever else. This is on like a sort of white, slightly marbled vinyl, by the way. If you can see that on Grok also. And then they have like some weird like kind of sound effects. I mean, nothing like really overbearing, you know, but just like some synth shit going on, which like reminds you of why a synth can be cool when it's not being used to make a fucking ECM record. But I actually forgot there was a fucking insert in here. Yeah, there's this wraparound cover, and look at this insert. This is awesome. Yeah, look at this. Can you see that? A little cartoon nudity there. Fucking UFO, and the lyrics on the inside of this. For Aliens in Our Midst and 1,000 Reasons. So yeah, this is a fantastic record. Both these 45s are. And then they also made one LP, which I will show as soon as I get this put together. These covers are fragile. I don't really like to fuck with them too much. Well, I gotta bust this one out too. I don't know if there's a thing in here. It's like Christmas, man. I just found a fucking insert in my record. Yeah, look at that. So this one has an insert too. It's the lyrics on one side. It says, "Love Donnie Jupiter," who's the guy. Oh, Jesus. What else can I say, man? I mean, shit. Here. She's out in space. That actually pretty much sums up the record right there. That's pretty much what this is. I mean, because it has some of the glam shit going on. You know what I mean? But it's spacey as hell, man. And it's funny because these guys are a little bit jokey for my normal taste, you know, and just sort of their general sort of demeanor, but they're just so good. So here's the LP by the Twinkies, Alpha Jerk. And, you know, the 45s are better. They made those first. There are a couple of songs redone, actually. In fact, Aliens in Our Midst is on here, 1,000 Reasons, Cartoon Land, ESP, so all the songs. You know, the 45s are a little bit cooler, but this record is still fantastic. 77, 78 recordings. And I love that they have a Twinkies theme right there on side 2. So yeah, man, the Twinkies are pretty fucking fantastic. Alright, so I think I've already been rambling about 20 minutes, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and stop. I pulled out a few records. Okay, here's one more little shout out, and then I'm going to hang it up. Because, Steve, Harmless Rebel, I watched one of his later videos, and it was kind of tripping me out, like one thing after another. I was like, he just has a way of like just saying something and being dead on. You know what I mean? But I should put links to all of these guys underneath. So, he was talking about how he had just busted out a copy of this thing. And frankly, I'm showing this one because it's probably the sort of record that you expect me to show all the time. But, you know, he was talking about how much this is probably his favorite of the three that Bowie did with Eno, like during his whole Berlin phase. That's what he called it, the Berlin phase. I think that's what I've heard it called. But when I first turned on to these, the person I turned on from called them the Eno albums. You know, and justifiably, because these are really as much Eno as David Bowie. At least in the final product. You know, for all I know, he was in the studio for 10 minutes, but man. But, you know, for some reason, this one never clicked for me the way Low did. And Lodger either, for that matter. But Low I always loved. This one I thought was okay, but not quite as great. But this one, I don't know. I mean, it's hard after hearing it in so many car commercials and shit to hear the song Heroes again on my own record. Even though it's a really good song, and I've got no problem with that song. And for as being as played as it has been over the last decade or so, it actually stands up pretty well. It stands up a lot better than Like a Rock by Bob Seger, or pretty much anything by Bob Seger that got that much exposure, actually, including by me, because I'm fucking talking about Bob Seger for the second time in this video. But yeah, but you know, Steve's totally right, man. Heroes is a fantastic record. So, you know, for sort of my personal history, I kind of have to give it to Low out of the two. But yeah, I played that one like 2 or 3 times after I pulled it out. So kind of blown away by that. And I'll show one more just because it has another awesome cover. It's another one I just picked up by Bruce and Vladdy, which is good, not incredible. It's very good. 2 guys hanging out in Sweden. One's American, one's Polish. They fucking made a record for the Swedish label, and I don't know if they ever even saw each other again after that. It's kind of cool they reproduced the original liner notes. But yeah, it's kind of a funky jazz record, which is kind of what I expected. But it's actually a lot more. I'm not sure what the adjective is. It's not in the way I expected. It's kind of smoother, but it's not like smooth. It's just like it just kind of flows right through you like honey. You know what I mean? There's actually a little bit of singing on it, which I usually can't stand, but I don't know, man. There's something about this record that just does it. And I bought this. I think it was going to be over a jazz record. I'm thinking that Bruce and Vladdy are going to get filed under funk. But yeah, that's one that's it's worth a listen. All right, whether or not you buy it, I'm not going to take responsibility for that. But that was definitely worth a listen to. So, all right, well, I think that's probably enough talking for now. So, yeah, okay. This is how many records have stayed undiscussed. But I try to keep us in my sweet spot of right around 20 minutes. You know, I don't overstay my welcome, so those will wait for next time. Alright, so thanks for watching. Appreciate it. And thanks to everyone who's been turning me on to shit lately, or making me reconsider things that I thought I was kind of done with. You know, I mean, like ECM, you know. Yeah, some were good, but more than that, just digesting it. I enjoy the process, and that's why I like it when people, you know, say, hey, check this out, check this out. Even if it's shit that I end up hating, I learned something by listening to it, so it's all good, it's all music, and there's at least a little something special about all of it. So thanks, with that little Mr. Rogers thought, I'm going to leave you.